guys, and welcome back to my show. I am Becoming by Monica Singer. Thank you guys for watching. Today I have a very special guest. We have glamtrepreneur Erika Aguilar. Welcome, Erika.
Thank you, Monica.
And before we get into detail about what it is that you do for a living and for your business, what is a glamtrepreneur?
So a glamtrepreneur is, well, it's a combination of an entrepreneur that is glamorous, right? I don't come from a business background, or no one ever in my family ever had a business. So when I heard the word entrepreneur, I didn't even know how to pronounce it, and I didn't even know what it meant. So then I guess I came up with that because I wanted to add who I was with what I was doing. And I've always liked fashion. I've always liked to be glamorous. I think every woman, to a certain extent, loves to feel glamorous.
Yes, of course.
Whether it's just having like the subtle blush and mascara to like the full cut crease wing liner, you know. So that's how I came up with that. And a glamtrepreneur is not just a woman that wants to look good. A glamtrepreneur is a woman building herself, building her identity, building her worth, building her business. A glamtrepreneur is a single mom trying to do something better for her and her kids. A glamtrepreneur is a woman that doesn't quit, who gets up every single day. Maybe she's heartbroken, but she says, you know what, I can't stay here. I need to go out there and make it happen. She doesn't give an excuse.
I love it.
That's a glamtrepreneur. She's everybody.
I love it.
You know?
I started hashtagging after.
I love that.
After watching yours. And you know what's funny is now, and I feel like we could do a whole segment just about this.
Yes.
But now that you're saying that, I've been following you for a while. And I came across your page because it was when I started to get into real estate. I was on Instagram and I was looking at other real estate agents' pages. And I don't remember what I was hashtagging. I was probably hashtagging like real estate or entrepreneur or something like that. And so I came across your page, but I was really looking to see, like, I was like, okay, well, I've been a mom for, the last X amount of years, and now it's a whole new identity. Like, what am I gonna wear? How am I supposed to look? So when I came across your page, I was like, I thought you were at first, like, just at a glance, I thought you were in real estate, and I was like, I love how she dresses.
Wow.
I love how she dresses. I saw your page and I was like, she looks like a businesswoman and she's very glamorous, and I was like, this is what I want my look to be. I want my look to be like this.
Thank you.
So then I started, I was following you because obviously we like to follow people who we like the way they dress. So we're like, okay, I want to, like, do some inspirations for the future. And then that's how I just kept seeing your page when you would pop up with all these really cute outfits. And then I started noticing what it is that you do for a living. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. You have an amazing business.
Thank you.
So tell us, thank you. So tell us, what is it? Explain to us, what is it that you actually do?
So I am in financial services. I'm a life insurance agent. I'm very proud to be a life agent. I get to meet with so many families every single day. I get to educate them on the importance of setting up a legacy in the case they pass, or in the case they get severely ill and they won't suffer a financial struggle when worst case scenario happens. So I do that. I am a senior vice president and co-owner of my company.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And I've
been seeing you climb, girl. Good job.
Thank you. And I have an organization of over 300 agents now.
Awesome.
And I'm just very proud to do what I do. I love it. I love I love my company. I love what it represents. I love the mentorship, the leadership that's running the company. And that's basically what I do.
That's
I
awesome.
get to meet with people that are in the 90% group of America and the 10% group of America, and just help them and educate them on the different types of services that are out there when it comes to setting up a retirement plan, or just having more knowledge on what life insurance and retirement planning is.
Yeah.
I know, mostly many families in America, there's certain types of topics that are not discussed at the kitchen table.
Right.
One is money, two, religion, politics, and many other, topics that make a lot of families cringe if you talk in front of each other, So I think that our generation today, we're lacking a lot on knowledge when it comes to setting up our future.
Yeah.
We're just living so fast right now. Everything moves so fast, and we're not really thinking about 15, 20 years from now, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I'm able to help them and break it down to them in every single simple way possible, so that they can benefit, and 20 years later they can look back at their 25-year-old self and they can say, oh, thank you for doing that.
Right.
I'm doing good now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I do.
That's really good. That's so awesome. I've been watching you, like I said, and I see you climbing up, and I see you doing so amazing. You're, going on trips that are paid for in your company. And then you're inspiring so many other, are they agents? They're called agents?
Yes,
right?
our agents. Yeah.
You're inspiring so many other agents, so many people looking up to you. And you're actually a living proof of, so I heard this, another real estate agent who's very well known. His name is Danny, and he talks about the art of have, do, be. So have, do, be is, if you want to have something, then you have to do what it takes to be happy, or be who you want to be. But I guess that's the norm, right? So have, do, be. But then he flips it and he says, you know what? It shouldn't be that way. It should be, do, have.
Okay.
So you should be happy.
Yeah.
And I actually see you in this state because to me, you seem like, okay, you want to feel happy on the outside, right? You want to feel pretty. And if you feel pretty, you feel like you can do your best for the day. Like if you look good, then it's going to just like your confidence is just going to like pour out, right? So this is what he says. He says, you need to be the person that you are. You need to be living as the person that you see yourself in the future. Be living that person today. Be happy today. Do what it takes to, make the money that you want to do so that you can have the things that you want.
Yeah.
But you have to be happy first. You have to be that person already.
Yeah.
You're not making yourself to be that person. You need to already be that person.
Yes.
In order for it all to just come naturally.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a rapper, don't, okay, I'm going to practice rapping, blah, blah, blah. No, act as a rapper, be a rapper, walk as a rapper, talk as a rapper, because then everybody's going to see you as a rapper, and then guess what? You're going to get that deal.
Yeah.
So instead of it being the other way around, that's how I see you. You seem like, when I first started following you, you were already doing great, but then I see you just climbing more and more and more, and I'm like, wow, she is that definition of be, do, have. She is being that person because you feel like, you know what, I feel like I'm a millionaire. So you know what, like 2 years later, I'll be that millionaire. I am that millionaire, So congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you so much, Monica.
And I know that it didn't come easy.
No.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, and how you grew up.
Yeah. So I'm from a very small town. I grew up in a town called Wasco. Wasco is like a little dot between Bakersfield and Fresno.
Okay.
Okay, probably 25,000 people in that town. Very small town, yes. Like, I always like to say it, you can literally go through a drive-through on a horse. And I've seen it happen. I got married, so I live in Bakersfield, which is, it's a bigger city than Moscow. I grew up in a very Mexican traditional household. My parents, they're both from Michoacan, Mexico.
My mom is from there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's why you're so successful. You have Michoacan blood in you.
Yeah.
So both my parents are from there.
Okay.
And I have the best parents in the world.
That's awesome.
We didn't grow up wealthy. We lived in a little apartment growing up. Then they bought their home in Wasco. But my dad was a truck driver.
Okay.
He's not anymore.
My dad was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not anymore, but he was.
Yeah. So, and my mom always worked in packaging plants.
Okay.
So, if they ever struggled financially, I never saw that.
Okay.
They always did whatever they could for us, and I have nothing but good memories as a child. I'm the middle of 3.
Okay.
So I have an older sister and a younger brother. So as a middle child, you kind of always feel like you have to do the most so someone can look at you, you know?
Yeah.
So when I got out of high school, I went to college, and I didn't want to go to college, Monica. I didn't want to go to college, and I went to try to pursue a nursing career, and I didn't want to be a nurse either.
Me too.
Oh my God, this is crazy. So I remember graduating. School was so hard for me. I wasn't anybody in high school. I was not a cheerleader. I was never in sports. I never played sports because no, I'm gonna mess up my hands and break fingers. Like, I was always afraid to break a bone, so I never did sports. So I never grew up in a competitive environment. I was kind of just always just, you know, arbitrating around school. And so when I got out, I remember thinking, oh my God, yes, thank God, I don't have to go to school anymore. You know, I'm gonna just work and make money. Like, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But growing up in a very traditional house, our expectations were different. You know, I remember my parents always saying, oh, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna go to school, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't wanna do that, you know? But, you know, I ended up going to school. I was only accepted to my community college. I was such a bad student that they barely even accepted me. And I went, and when I got to school, I didn't qualify for financial aid. So I had to do what any other college student is doing and trying to make ends meet and look for a job. So I remember applying at Denny's, Red Lobster, and nobody would hire me. So then one day I'm sitting at home and my mom calls me. She's at work and she says, Mija, there's gonna be a contractor calling you in a little bit. He has a job. And I'm like, okay. So then he calls me and he says, are you available within the next hour? And I'm like, yeah. And then he says, there's a job available at a packaging warehouse. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm gonna be in an office position or something like that, you know? So they need a packer. And I'm like, a packer? I know what a packer is. My mom's been a packer since I was born, before I was born, because that's all she's ever done. I'm like, okay. And I didn't want to be ungrateful, and I just wanted to make money. So I'm like, if that's gonna give me money, then I'm just gonna do it, you know? So I worked at a packaging warehouse. I packed eggs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In Spanish, we call them empaques.
Okay.
So I worked in an empaque while going to school at the same time. The ranch where I worked at had almost 1 million chickens.
Oh, wow.
So production was 7 days a week. Clock-in was at 7. No weekends off. So whenever you were off, you were off. So if you were off like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I never had a weekend off. I was 18 years old, straight out of high school. So then clock-in was at 7, and there was no clock out. Clock out was whenever the orders were done. So
oh my goodness.
Sometimes the normal was getting out at 5. So I got used to at a very young age working a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that must have really prepped you for
Now that I see it, yes, it did.
because you know what a real work
Yeah.
week looks like.
Hard work week
Yeah.
for a little bit of money, you know?
Yeah.
And well, at the same time, I was going to school whenever they would give me my days off.
Okay.
And so then, after 3 years of working and going to school, I dropped out of college because I wasn't doing good anymore. I, I mean, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm not against school. I need people to go to school, like my doctor, you know, my nurse and my lawyer. Like, yes, I need them to go to school,
educated,
but I didn't see it as something that I wanted to do. So I ended up dropping out because there's a certain point, and this is the way I see life. You're gonna have to sacrifice at some point. You're going to have to sacrifice now. You're going to have to sacrifice 5 years, 10, 20 years from now. At some point, you can't run away from sacrifice, like ever. So at that point, school was going to require me to take more days off and take longer classes, like labs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, and I said, I don't even want to be a nurse. Why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
And why do I keep paying so much money? Because college is not cheap.
No.
Even community college is not.
No.
I said, I keep paying so much money and I don't want to do this. I couldn't see myself being a nurse at the age of 50 years old.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to do this. And so I dropped out and I continued working.
Okay.
Because I said, you know, I can keep working and save money and I don't know, like that's all I really had in mind.
Yeah.
So next thing, I get promoted. I'm not packing anymore. So I'm like, yes, I'm done with, you know, packing. It was very, very hard. If you ever buy a carton of eggs, like really appreciate them because there's a lot of hard labor, you know.
That goes into
I think
it.
anything that goes in at our table, what we consume is very hard labor. So then I worked in the office. So I was very happy. I was getting paid better. Now I had a set schedule. It was Monday through Friday. I was in an office, unsupervised. I was pretty much doing whatever I wanted, just completing my tasks. I'm very, very lucky. I had a very good boss at that time. And so when that happened, I was so comfortable. I had told myself, this is it. I don't need to do anything else. This is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna be here until, you know, I don't have to work anymore. But then on year 6, the company went through a lot of changes and a lot of people were laid off. And then I realized people that had been there for many, many years. And I realized nothing guarantees me anything here.
Right.
Nothing. I saw a lot of corporate, you know, people come and make changes and move things around with production and how things were running. And I thought to myself, I know more than you when it comes to this area, and you get paid more than me. Just because you have a fancy certificate, you know? And that's when it hit me, and I realized I am never gonna be anything else. If I try to go to, you know, move places in the corporate world, no one's ever gonna consider me, no matter how much of a hard worker I am and how dedicated I am. They want to see that fancy degree.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm gonna end up at the bottom of the barrel somewhere else, or I'm gonna end up, I don't know, having another minimum wage job. And at that time, I was 25 years old, and I felt like such a loser, Monica. Like, I felt like such a loser because I had been with this company for 6 years. I had nothing to my name. If something would have happened to me then, I would have left nothing to my loved ones. I would have been forgotten because I was nobody. My priorities were so messed up at that time. Like, I think like any early 20-year-old going through life is all about the party, the having fun, the trying to impress people that are just as broke as you are. And so I wanted to do something different. At the time, I was only dating my now husband, and he comes from an oil field background.
Okay.
He was already making 6 figures where he was at, And I was just, I felt like even a more loser because I'm like, what else do I have to offer in this relationship? Like looks is not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Like I need to do something. I need to provide. I need to add value to my life. Like I just need to do something different besides.
Like you didn't feel good enough
No.
for him.
For
the
for
relation-
myself,
yeah.
period. You know, I just got tired of living, waiting for it to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do something with my life.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do something, I just didn't know what. I knew I wanted to live a certain life. I just didn't know how to get there.
Okay.
I had no guidance. I had nobody mentoring me. I had nobody telling me, you know, you can do this, you can do that. Pouring belief. I think it's very, very important for anybody to have somebody like that in your corner.
Yeah.
And I had nobody. And so then I just said, well, I guess I'm just gonna go back to school, try to finish this nurse thing, and I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So when I told my boyfriend at that time, was now my husband, his name's Ricardo. I told him, I said, babe, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna be a nurse. And I was so excited because I felt like, okay, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm getting the ball rolling.
Right.
And so he's like, a nurse? No, you can't do that. You can't be a nurse. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, no, you're just not meant to be a nurse. You can do so much more. And I'm I'm just thinking, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And I was starting to get frustrated because, you know, the saying that says, if you can dream it, you can do it, or the sky's the limit. And I'm like, I dream it every damn day and nothing happens. So now you're telling me that I could do more. Okay, tell me what.
Yeah.
Okay, what? What am I supposed to do with my life? I don't know, you're just supposed to be something else. Like, you're not supposed to be a nurse.
Okay.
You have so much more potential. And I'm like, no, I don't. You know? And it's so crazy how a lot of people around us will see us and they'll say like, oh, like you can take over the world, and you're just like, you don't even believe that. Like strangers believe more in you and see more potential in you than you in yourself.
Yeah.
And that
and you as a person will do more for a stranger than you'll do for yourself as well.
Yeah. And so I think that's like the secret. If you just stop that, the world,
you get in the way of your own self.
Oh yes. Yeah. You're your own enemy. And so then I said, okay, well, I don't know, here I go again, trying to figure out my life again, you know. And
25 is a really hard age of discovering who
right?
you are.
It's like a midlife crisis.
It is.
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, I understand.
That's exactly how I felt. And so then at that time, Ricky was tired of the oil fields as well. He had been a supervisor for 8 years. The oil fields is a very dangerous industry.
Okay.
You're working under a lot of pressure, physically and mentally. Just to give you an idea, if you're in the oil fields, you're working under very severe weather conditions, whether it's like negative degrees or it's like boiling 115 degrees, and you have to wear this really heavy gear and be out there in the oil well, and it's very tough.
Yeah.
They call them, if you're in the oil fields, you're what is it called? Tough neck or something like that, because they're just rough, you know, roughneck. That's what they call them. And so he was tired of that. My husband's always been a very driven person, very ambitious, very business, you know, savvy. He grew up with parents that were business owners. And to him, that language was very normal, you know. To him, having to do whatever it takes to get whatever you want, that's his nature. So he wanted to do something different as well. He didn't want to be in the oil fields anymore either, although he was already doing well. And so he starts talking about wanting to do a business, and I'm just being the supportive girlfriend and just helping him out. He wanted to do like a nightclub or a lounge. And you know what I said? He always talked about marriage. So I told him, like, do you really want to marry me? He's like, yeah. And so when he was really into wanting to open up a nightclub, I said, is this your passion? Like, is this your dream? Like, you can't stop thinking about it and you're so passionate about it? Or is this just like a business venture that you want to do to get out of where you're at for now? And he says, well, this is, I'm like, so is it a passion? And he said, he didn't answer me. And I said, because if this is your passion, I'm not going to stop you from building that dream, but I'm not going to be able to help you build it. Because I was in the nightlife. I was in the scene, I partied a lot.
Yeah.
So I knew the back end of owning.
What that life is like. Yeah. I was in the same thing too. And that's funny because I was a bartender for many years, and I saw the money that would come in. And I always tell, and I'm kind of the opposite from what you just mentioned, because I tell my husband, I'm like, babe, like the alcohol industry is such an amazing industry.
It
like,
is.
People make $20,000 in one night. Like, imagine a whole weekend, a whole week, you can make a lot of money. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I can run something with my eyes closed and blah, blah. And he said, this is what he told me. He goes, we can do it. He goes, but let me tell you something. He goes, there's going to be so much going on. There's that's just the devil. Like, that.
Oh my God, I was just thinking.
There's
that's the
alcohol,
devil.
there's drugs, and there's women.
Yep.
He goes, don't expect this to last. And it's not that. And he said it saying, like, not that I'm telling you I'm going to cheat on you, but temptation is temptation.
Oh, of course.
And, if that's what you really want, then we can do it.
It's a risk.
And I thought about it, and I was like, no, you're right. I've seen, being a bartender, I would see so many husbands whose wives didn't know they were there, who were with other women, and you are their bartender, so obviously you're not going to say anything. So I'm like, no, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Maybe this isn't for us. But yeah, I totally understand.
So because and not because I'm like a jealous, partner. No, I grew up in a very loving home with loving parents. My parents act like teenagers around each other. So I've always had a good example of what I wanted to as a husband, as a family. And I just knew that I couldn't be a wife waiting at home and to see what time, 2, 3 in the morning, or I just didn't want to do that. Yeah. So then he never mentioned anything. He never said, we stopped looking for places to lease. He never mentioned anything anymore. And then his brother was already in the insurance industry. At that time though, we were not seeing him do anything. And I remember his name's Alejandro. He would always talk about, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I'm like, dude, selling insurance, like, calm down, And then, and so then out of the nowhere, my brother-in-law had already been in the industry for 2 years, and we start seeing him do well. My husband starts to see that he's making $5 grand, 6, 7, 8 a week. He's making 20, 25 grand a month. And he's like, what? Like, this is my little brother,
Yeah.
And even with my husband having a good position in his industry, he wasn't doing that. He was doing that amount of money because he had his job and he had other businesses going on. And he's like, but he's just doing insurance. So then one day, and this is so crazy, we get engaged March 26th, I believe. We get engaged, and he talks about, we're gonna get married, and we're not gonna ask anybody to help us, like typical Mexican family that asks everybody to help them plan the wedding. He's like, we're gonna pay for everything. And I said, okay. So we get engaged, and then like maybe 3 days later, he calls me, and he says, he's at work, and he's like, babe, I'm gonna quit my job, and we're going into business with my brother.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, what you're tripping, I'm like, what? Like, first of all, like, I don't come from business. I don't have a degree. I don't know anything about finances. I don't know anything about life insurance. I don't know nothing.
Right.
And I'm thinking, and you're gonna quit your 6-figure job. We're getting married in a couple of months. You don't even know what the heck you're doing either.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to argue with him. So I just said, okay, yeah, babe, whatever. Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So then, out of the nowhere, one day, after that, the next day, we go to his brother's office, and very casually, he starts to talk about the industry and how it's so demanding. He starts to talk about how, you know, in the 80s and 90s, real estate was like a boom. You know, if you were a real estate agent in the 80s, like if you were making millions, you know, there was a big boom. And he says insurance is the boom of like what it was in real estate. Every single day, 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every single day. And the demand for needing to learn about finances, it's an everyday thing. People need life insurance, period. You know, you're gonna need it. That's because one thing is certain that we have certain is we're gonna be gone one day.
Right.
And what do we wanna leave to our loved ones? What kind of legacy do we wanna leave? Do we wanna leave them struggling financially and having to grieve the loss of the loved one? Or do we want to leave them established and be able to, you know, have a good memory and not have to struggle with how am I going to pay a funeral?
Yeah.
And so I fell in love with the crusade.
Okay.
I fell in love with, you know, the opportunity. I'm a person that, you know, if I see opportunity and I'm very like I need facts, I'm all in. And so when I saw the opportunity, when I saw the demand for insurance agents at this time, I'm like, this is it. This is the boom now.
Right.
You know? And of course, when I saw how much an agent gets paid, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I can do so much. And I saw a lot of young people in his office, and I saw a lot of people from different backgrounds, like school teachers, nurses. And I'm like, these are people that got an education.
Yeah.
And if they're here, is because there's something good happening.
Right.
And then he says, you don't need to have a degree. All you need to do is get an insurance through the state of California, and you can grow a business nationally. And I said, okay, so how do I start this?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, let's go. Let's get it moving. Like, I want to get this done now. He's like, well, you have to take the test first. I'm like, okay, can I take it right now? He's like, no, you have to wait. And I'm like, okay. So, and then that's how we got started.
Wow.
And I mean, just like you said earlier, like, you know, there's struggles, and nothing's ever pretty, period. And anything that you want to accomplish, anybody that reaches success, a certain level of success, or accomplishes certain things in life positively, you're gonna get your hands dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Through the process.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to understand that when you don't see it coming. You think that the process is going to be a stroll in the park, and you know, I wish it was, you know, but it's not. But nobody is. Even the people that we admire on TV, even the reality TV stars, even nobody that we admire has ever had a simple process, an easy path. So we had our struggles, but we've also been very, very blessed with who is guiding us, the leadership that we're able to have.
And you guys went in together as a team?
We went in together.
That's
so
awesome.
It's crazy. Like, we start this new life phase, and then we're getting married at the same time. Like, there was so much new happening. So it was even more difficult and more crazy. And it's a blessing to be able to work with someone that you love so much and create something that you both want, you know, and that's why we call our couples power couples, and in any industry, like you and your husband are a power couple. That's what you guys do so amazing, and you guys have been able to have the blessings that you've been able to have, because it's two, not just one.
And when you guys are in sync, it's
in
like
sync.
everything's possible. Like,
I always say, a man's, success is going to determine a lot on the woman that he's with.
Right.
And a woman's success is going to depend a lot on the man that she's with. It's both ways. Now with me and my husband, we have a national business. We have multiple offices here in California.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we have an office in Visalia, Bakersfield, in the Coachella Valley.
wow.
Yeah.
That's so far from each other.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And we live in Bakersfield, so obviously we've had to commute a lot and expand, and that's our
your business.
That's our business. That's
Yeah.
our process now. And like I said, at one point in life, you're gonna have to sacrifice. So you're gonna have to pick your sacrifice.
Right.
You can pick it now, where okay, it's not that hard. Or you could pick it 10 years from now when you can really do nothing about changing your life at that moment.
Right.
Opportunities come once in a lifetime.
Yeah. That's so
Not twice,
awesome. Have you guys ever been at a point, I mean, I'm sure not now, but in the beginning, like, did you ever feel like quitting? Like, was there ever times where, like you said, you would maybe fail and you were just like,
Absolutely.
okay, we need to start over.
Yeah.
Or maybe this wasn't it. We need to do something new.
Yeah.
Were there times like that?
Yes. When we were trying to open up our office in the Visalia area, we had just became brokers. Within 6 months, within 4 months of coming into the industry, we became brokers.
Oh, wow.
Which at that time in our company was like unheard of.
Okay.
And then within our first 6 months, we were trying to open our own office. And so we were barely picking ourselves back up. My husband's savings had completely ran out already. So we were like, oh my God, like we need to get moving. And at that time, Monica, we were doing so bad financially, like to the point where we were like negative in our bank account.
Okay.
And just to put it to you this way, I loved going to my mom's house because I knew I was going to eat a full meal.
Yeah.
And
why keep going? Like, what was the end result? Like, why continue to, okay, we have to get our life, and that's probably what pushed you guys to go hard.
Yeah.
Get your broker's license, get your office, and you knew, like, you must have known, like, at the end of the tunnel there's going to be light, right?
yeah.
And you just had faith in each other, and you just said, we're going to do this.
Yeah. We just knew, like, we're already deep. Like, and we've seen so many success stories, not just in our company, but in the industry. And again, I go back to, in anything that you want to do, you're going to go through it.
Yeah.
So if you quit now, you're going to quit at anything.
Right.
And I knew I was always that person that wanted to start something, and if I did and things got hard, oh, never mind.
Right. And that's how a lot of people do. And you guys are lucky you guys had some savings. Somebody else in that situation would have quit a long time ago because it was like, hey, I need to eat.
Yeah.
I need to pay rent. I need, I need to get gas. So I
Yeah.
can't make it. I can't, go this far. So it's awesome that you guys thought about it and said, okay, we have this much set aside. And that's kind of like in my industry as well. You don't make money. Even, it's really hard to make money even the first 6 months to a year, because you're barely telling the world you're doing, what you do for business. And then for you have to have money on the side to be able to, or a lot of people start off with other jobs to pay for yourself as you're getting, to pay for your life as you're building relationships and getting clients. And even just selling a house can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days. So it's like, okay, it's going to be a while. So that's kind of like what you guys were challenged with, is like, okay, we need this money. set aside, but we're just gonna go full throttle.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is what
It was hard, Monica. There was a point where we were just done. Like I was so traumatized going home every night, and here I am working, putting 14, 15 hours a day in the office, in the field, trying to do something. And then at the end of the day, I would go home and I would always look at my front door because I was so traumatized to see an eviction notice. Like every single day, I would do that. And sure enough, like I received an eviction notice one time. We had no food in our fridge, in our kitchen. And I could see my husband, he's always been a hustler. He's always had money. He's always done good. And I saw him at a point where I knew he was trying so hard, so freaking hard to make it happen. And when I saw how he didn't give up, even though I knew that wasn't his identity to be broke, I was just like, I can't bring him down.
Right.
Like, we're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna do this. If there's so many people that have proven to show that the system works, then we can do it. We just need to put our heads down and just keep going and put the blinders on and accept that people are going to reject you, accept that people are going to walk out of your life, and just stop dwelling on the negative and just keep it moving. And that's the way I live by now. Like, come on, like, just keep it moving. Like cry about it for 5 minutes and snap out of it and keep it moving. Like, not an entire day, not 2 days, not a week. Like, no, like, you got to keep going. Nobody's going to come and save you.
Yeah.
And so we did. And so we kept hustling, we kept going, getting rejected, getting told no, deals not closing, deals canceling, people quitting on us, team members quitting, family like not talking to us. And we just said, it is what it is. We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep going. And we did. And within our after that, 4 months later, we finally cracked over 6 figures.
Nice.
And so things started to change.
Okay.
We started to understand the system, understand our industry. We just created systems for everything. I think in life you have to have a system for everything,
right?
And just stick to that system. And so,
well, you guys went in blind. You guys just said we're gonna do this. You didn't know how to be a salesman. I
didn't even know how to be a wife, and then I have to do a business.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Yeah.
The word salesperson was so intimidating. And
so that took practice for you to have that confidence, for people to believe you, for you to know the scripts, for you to know your product. It all took time for the confidence to come off and for people to believe you, to understand you, for you to make sense. Because I'm sure in the beginning you probably, didn't know what you were selling or what.
No, I was so afraid to talk to people.
Yeah,
Monica,
and I'm sure it showed.
Yeah.
And now you're a master of your craft. And
I hope so.
I'm sure you get a lot of yeses versus no's. And obviously you have to get a lot of no's in order to get to that yes. But
in anything.
Yeah.
In anything, And people fear rejection. Like, all of us have an ego, and our ego doesn't like to be told no.
Right.
Nobody. I don't care how humble you are, you don't like to be told no. And so once you get past that, like, no, okay, next.
Move. Yeah, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah. That's the same in my industry. We know how many contacts we need to make before we get that yes. So once the contacts are up there, I'm like, okay, my yes is coming soon. I'm already at, 60 contacts. I know you're coming. Where's my yes? And if the next one is a no, that's awesome because I'm closer to my yes. You know?
Have you heard of 10-3-1 rule?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll tell 10 people, 3 will confirm, and 1 will seal the deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's so awesome. That's awesome. So now, how long have you been in the business?
3 years.
3 years. Oh, wow.
3 years. We are about to cross over within just a year, half $1 million in income.
Nice.
I always said this. I always said, I'm going to be a millionaire before 30. I'm going to be a millionaire before 30. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so I'm about to be 29.
Nice.
And then I go back to, remember I told you about if you can dream it, you can do it? Like, when I said how people hear those quotes and they're like, how? Like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, But it is so true.
Yeah.
Like, our mind is so freaking powerful.
Yeah.
Our mind can achieve anything we want, the good and the bad.
Yes.
And what you focus on, you will become and you will have.
Whether it's positive or negative.
Yes. And if you're thinking of
you're
something negative, like, oh shoot, I didn't pay the bill. Oh my God, I hope they don't shut it off. I hope they don't shut it off. Guess what? They're gonna shut it off.
Yeah.
And so it's so crazy. I'm about to be 29 this month, actually, June 26th.
Happy birthday.
So thank you. And I'm just like, okay, we're on track.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a millionaire before 30.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
and whatever you shoot for, sometimes you don't get it, but hey, 31 and being a millionaire, you'll take it, right?
Oh, of course.
You didn't make it at 30, but I'm gonna keep pushing and I'm gonna get there.
I always tell my agents, shoot for the moon. The worst case, you will land on the star.
Exactly.
But just shoot for it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
So,
you have to. And what is, I noticed this. What does this represent?
So this is, it looks like a sports championship ring, huh? So it's so ironic because I never played sports. I was never competitive, And so this is basically the championship ring in the industry, in insurance, even in real estate. There's some companies that do that as well. So once you hit like a certain income within 1 year, then you get a championship ring. So this is actually when I made my first 100,000 a year.
Oh, nice.
So once you hit the 100,000, they give you the ring, and it changes. The stone changes as you're hitting different numbers. So in our industry and in our company, the red stone is the $500,000 in 1 year.
Oh, wow.
So I should be ordering that soon since I know I'm gonna crack
Congratulations.
it. Thank you.
That'll be amazing.
So basically that's it. And if you see anybody like like, oh, it basically means like, okay, you're with the big dogs.
And you wear it with pride. Obviously, it's something you're proud of. You're extremely proud of, and that's so amazing. Like, you've been in the business only 3 years.
Only 3 years.
You had a lot of ups and downs in the beginning. You have 3 offices.
I have 3 established offices. Yes.
3 offices, and you have.
And we keep expanding.
300 people working.
Over 300.
Oh my goodness! Talk about not going to college.
I know, right?
That is so amazing. And you're not even in your 30s. You're in your 20s.
No, we're just getting started.
That is so, that's like such an amazing story. So it wasn't that long after I started real estate, after you started, that I must have seen you. And you've carried yourself the same way in the beginning. And you were probably when I noticed you were probably going through those struggles. But like I mentioned, if you are acting like the person that you want to be, you're going to become that person. You can't be dressing and acting like somebody else if that's not who you want to be. You have to be that person. And you have to be happy. You have to be happy already, and then do what it takes to become that person in order to have what you want. So, congratulations on all of your success, your marriage. You guys are a power couple.
Likewise.
And I only see amazing, amazing things happening for you guys.
Thank you.
I want to close with you giving a piece of advice to somebody that actually wants to pursue your industry. And maybe they were in your same shoes. Maybe it's someone that has been thinking about it for a while, doesn't have, much of a background, someone in their mid-20s that is just like unsure of whether or not to take the leap. What would you encourage? What would you say it takes in order to, become, excuse me, in order to do what it is that you do? Like, what's a piece of encouragement that you would give to that person?
Just go for it. Just go for it. Who cares how you're gonna look? Who cares what people are gonna say?
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, if they're not paying your bills, who cares?
Yeah.
Just go for it. Understand that the best investment you will ever make in your life is yourself.
Yes.
And understand that you're gonna have to do it at some point in life. At some point in life, you're gonna have to do it.
Yep.
Like I said, it's gonna be now 10, 15. You're gonna have to invest to better yourself. Nobody's gonna come and invest in you.
Yeah.
If you don't invest in yourself first, nobody's gonna see you and say, this is a good product. You have to look at yourself and say, I am a badass product.
Yes.
I am gonna put myself on the front cover, on the first shelf, so someone can pick me up. I am gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we do it for everybody else. The makeup that we buy, the clothes that we buy,
Yeah.
we're helping somebody else's business grow.
Exactly.
Investing and spending money. Spend it on yourself.
Yeah.
And do it and go for it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that's gonna happen, you lost it.
Yeah.
But you're blessed and you're alive and you're gonna get it back.
That's what I say too. Is especially someone in their 20s. You have a
Oh my
whole life to live. What's the worst that can happen? You're not gonna die. At least not from failing. You know what I mean?
Get life insurance with
you're
me first.
You're not gonna die. You are so young. I'm sure you have family member. If you get evicted or whatnot, I'm sure you can find somebody to bounce back on. Especially if you don't. I have kids, so
It's a temporary
harder.
struggle.
Yeah, it's a temporary situation. If you can build a business while living at home, do it.
Oh my God,
If
that is
you
the
can
best thing you can do.
If your parents will let you stay home and you're gonna go for it, do it.
Oh my
and
God,
do it while you
seriously.
have that support.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's some really good advice.
And things are gonna be hard.
Right.
But it's gonna be hard for a little bit. It's a temporary struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that the situation that you're in, you're not gonna be in that same situation 5 days from now, 5 months from now,
Right.
a year from now.
Right.
It's gonna be okay.
Yes.
Take a deep breath.
Yes.
Tell yourself you're a badass. Tell yourself you deserve it, and
Mm-hmm.
then just put that lip gloss back on and take over the world.
Yeah, and some heels.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Glamtrepreneur.
Thank you, Monica.
Erika Aguilar. Where can everybody find you? What are your social medias?
So you can find me on Instagram, Erika, ERIKA _ TCO. Mm-hmm. And I'm very active on Instagram. Mm-hmm. That's where you can find me.
Okay.
You can look up my company, PHP Agency. I really recommend my CEO and personal mentors channel, Valuetainment, because the way I speak, the way I carry myself, the way I run my business is thanks to the guidance of this man, and his channel has over 1 million subscribers.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to check it out.
So many great content, so many great people that he's interviewed as well. I know you're gonna love it.
Okay.
And that's where you can find me. That's where you can find an opportunity. If you're looking for something, contact me. If you're ready for a change, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I'm very active on
That's
on
good.
those platforms.
If you guys are looking for life insurance, if you guys are looking for, a savings for the future, for retirement, hit her up. We're actually going to discuss some things.
Yeah.
I'm excited about.
I have a feeling we're gonna create something good.
Yeah, for sure.
More than just business, right?
Yeah, definitely. And, I want to congratulate you. You're so young, so successful. You're going to do amazing things.
Thank you.
I can see
Well,
it.
I want to congratulate you as well.
Thank
because
you.
it takes a lot of courage to do this.
I know.
You are inspiring so many women and men as well.
Thank you.
I can definitely see you being, so big in what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're so
I
good at it
appreciate
too. So
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And with that, you guys, this is the end of our episode. Erika Aguilar, hit her up. All of her information will be down in the descriptions. And we'll see you guys in the next show. Bye. Bye.